We get people that are always worried about they have too much on their plate, they're overwhelmed, and that can actually stop your production. That can stop you from actually picking up the phone and connecting with clients because you feel like you have to do everything. And sometimes it's not just that you don't want to hire, just sometimes you think that you're the only person that can actually do the job. And we tend to forget that you were trained by somebody. So if you were able to be trained, then you need to find that person that you can actually train to be that person for you.
Hey everyone, Shawna Martinez here with Grounds for Success with Espresso Agent, where we give you the tools to become the neighborhood expert. And today I'm super excited that I get to talk with and learn from the Tom Ferry coach, Joann Garcia. She's in New Mexico, and I can't wait to see some of the stuff that she's going to be dropping for you to implement in your business so that you can have the best 2025. Joann, thank you so much for coming on. Please tell us a little bit about yourself before we dive in and get started.
Okay, so thank you very much for meeting with me today. I'm excited to be here. And you got that right. I am a realtor in El Paso, Texas, and New Mexico.
Oh,
So both
and New
areas.
Mexico. Okay. Yeah.
And I'm also a Tom Ferry coach. So I've been a Tom Ferry coach beginning at the end of December 2021. And
Oh, nice. Okay.
yes, and I just love to connect with people. So I'm in the right business. I can tell you that.
Same. Oh yeah, same. I always tell my dad, you would never have thought my gift of gab would have ever got me anywhere
Yes,
besides the principal's office.
exactly.
And I
Yes.
was like, and now look at me. So yeah. So whenever we talked before, I know you coach, agents, and lead generation and all that kind of stuff. But one of the things that we discussed was like hiring and the hiring process. And so I would love, because I think as people start to scale their business in 2025, I think having some information and some tips around best things to do and not to do when you're going through the hiring process is super important. So I would love to hear some of your tips and tricks and things that you think agents should know before they start hiring on their team.
Okay, so one of the things as a Tom Ferry coach, we get people that are always worried about they have too much on their plate, they're overwhelmed, and that can actually
Mm-hmm.
stop your production. That can stop
Mm-hmm.
you from actually picking up the phone and connecting with clients because
Yeah.
you feel like you have to do everything. And sometimes it's not just that you don't want to hire, just sometimes you think that you're the only person that can actually do the job.
Yes.
And we tend to forget that you were trained by
Yeah.
somebody.
By someone.
By someone, right? So if
Yeah.
you were able to be trained, then you need to find that person that you can actually train to be
Mm-hmm.
that person for you. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that we start looking at when we're looking at who can we replace is first of all, what are you doing right now? And take that time
Yeah.
and just make a list. What are the things that you do in your business? What are the things that
Mm-hmm.
you like to do? And what are the things that
Yes.
simply somebody else could do if you gave them that direction and let go? Right?
Yes.
And that's the
Yes.
hardest part. And I'll have people that will create
Is
a
letting go
list.
of the
Yeah,
control. That's the hardest
exactly.
part. Yeah.
And they'll
Yeah.
have that list, but then I'll be like, really? So is this a green? Is this a money making activity? Or is this something that
Yes.
doesn't make money? Because if it doesn't make money necessarily from your end,
Then you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't be
exactly.
doing it.
And I think a
Yes.
lot of us know that, but it's hard to get there, right? You need that little push. You need
Yes.
somebody to kind of say, hey, what are you
Mhm.
thinking? And then
Yes.
we are people, right? We are people that are out in the community. We're talking to people and we have a heart. If we didn't have
Mhm.
a heart, I don't think we would be in this business. Um,
Or you would have a transactional based business, and that might be why you are down in production for the last 2
yeah,
years because it's a skill-based market that we're in now,
exactly.
and your relationships really matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happens is that you're out somewhere or you're meeting somebody and all of a sudden you hear a sad story about how somebody doesn't have a job and they need money and all of a sudden
Mhm.
you want to hire that person because you feel sorry for them.
Yeah.
In reality, that
Yeah.
probably isn't the right person
I've done
to
that.
hire, right? And they don't last very
I've made a lot of mistakes.
long.
So I have built and dismantled a team. I think I'm on my 4th time this time, and
Wow.
I had a team of up to 13 agents, once, back in 2022, I think, and, I was miserable. I hated every second of it, and I did all the things wrong. I hired just everybody who came to me. They were all my past clients.
Yes.
they got inspired by me and wanted to get their real estate license, and they got their real estate license and said, okay, I want to be on your team. And I was like, okay, here, sign here.
Yeah.
And, I gave away all my business to them, and they didn't bring any business in. Anyways, it was a rough year. I dismantled my entire team. And so for that reason, I never wanted to build another big team. In fact, I teach people how to do SEAL teams, but there's so many things I look back now and I think I cringe at the fact that I did that in my business because I didn't have a clear vision of what I wanted to do. And I wasn't hiring the right avatar to my business.
Exactly. And then you ended up saying, "I don't wanna do this again." Because I've
Oh
had
no. Yeah.
so many people that will say I'll be
Uh-huh.
like, "I know you need more people to help you," and they're like, "I don't wanna do that, I've been there already."
Yeah.
Well, but did you do it the
Yeah.
right way? There's certain things.
No, because if you did, it wouldn't be a problem.
Exactly, you would be in a win
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest things is don't hire your friends, don't hire your family. You know.
Don't hire your past clients.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Offer to
offer your
mentor them,
heart.
offer to help them. Yeah, offer to help them, offer to mentor them. Doesn't mean I'm one of those people. I'm a yes person, and I always want everyone to like me. And here's
Yes.
the thing, spoiler alert: when you have a team, everyone's not going to like you,
Yep.
and you have to learn to be okay with that because you have a business to run at the end of the day, and if you're not looking at it from a business standpoint, you're looking at it as we're not in a charity, but you are if you hire the wrong people and you give away your business for free, then you are.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of things like you talked about, having somebody train people and you not being all the things. And one of the biggest issues I had when hiring people to my team was they wanted direct access to me 24/7. So, and I gave them the wrong idea with letting them think that that was how it was going to be. So guess who was answering all the phone calls and you got a minute and can you review and can you look at this? And it's 10 o'clock at night and I've been working all day and I'm still in production, very much so in production. And so to have that on my plate on top of what I already had to do, I can tell you right now, I've never been more miserable in my life.
Yeah, yeah, you need a to-go person. You need to give somebody that authority to
Yes.
answer those questions.
You
Make
need a
yourself
buffer between you and the
available
agents.
when you can, have meetings with them, but give yourself that authority. And then also
Yeah.
make sure that
Be like the top,
yeah,
like oversee everything, but have everybody else implementing it and doing the day to day.
this is your business, right? You need to be that CEO. You need to be up at the top. And you need to also do the disc profile. What are you hiring for? That's a
Mhm.
big issue that a lot of people they'll do it or maybe they won't, but they don't really go deep into what it means. And you need to make sure
Yeah.
you have the right people doing the jobs. And don't ever hire anybody that's if you're looking at an assistant, not so much a buyer's agent or a seller's agent, but
Mhm.
an assistant, make sure that they don't want to be a realtor themselves
Yeah. Mhm.
because
Because it becomes a conflict. Yeah, it becomes a conflict, yeah.
well, not just
So
that,
I
but
do
if
have
you
a
think
licensed
about it.
assistant, but she's a showing assistant. So I need her to be licensed,
Right,
but
yes.
she's like she has no desire to go out and get her own business. She's fine with that, but I 100% agree with you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you want your business to succeed in the long term, long. If you're hiring somebody
Yeah.
that basically you're coaching, right? Because you're developing them, you're
Mhm.
teaching them your systems, and then they're gonna end up leaving you to build their own business, you gotta start all
Mhm.
over again. And you need
Yeah.
to hire that one person that's gonna be with you forever because the deeper they go into the
Yes.
relationships with your clients, that's what it's about. It's about creating
Yeah.
that trust and having that
Yep.
team player. So
So you talk about, hiring those key people in your business. What would you say, like if you're going from an individual agent and you want to start scaling your business and have, a team, what is the hires that you need to make in a certain order?
okay. So what I say is for every person that you bring into your business, it should increase your volume or your transactions by at least 20 to 25 transactions. The
Oh,
Yeah. So if
I
you
like that.
have 13, you should be like banking.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead, we were, like, literally putting our house up for sale because we ran out of money. Yeah. So I can tell you I will tell you this real quick is I will say I'm very big on if something doesn't work and something doesn't work out and it ends up, lighting on fire or whatever, I'm always the first one to be like, It was me. It comes from the top." If it didn't work out, I wasn't the best leader. I didn't handle it. I wasn't the team lead that needed to be. I wasn't the business owner that I needed to be. And so then I immediately go, okay, what can I do to improve on my skill set with that? So
Right.
I do think it's important that if things aren't working, that you really have to be very self aware of that.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
So one of the first people that you really want to hire would be your TC, right? Your transaction coordinator, somebody
Yep.
that can actually do that paperwork for you that you don't necessarily have to do,
Mhm.
even if they got it prepared for you. Of course, you still have to review it.
Mhm.
You're the one presenting. You need to
Yep.
remember what you're
Yep.
there to do. You're there to connect.
Mhm.
You're there to do the presentations. You're there to list the houses. You don't need to do
Yes.
anything else.
Money-making activities,
Yes,
not
that's
the
it.
$5 an hour or $10 an hour work, yeah.
Yeah.
So on the TC side, because I have a lot of people, this is what I see, and I would love to hear your thoughts, is I see a lot of agents who are new in the business, and they're like, "I don't want a TC because it costs me money." But in my opinion, and I'm not a coach, but in my opinion, I feel like those are the people who really need TCs because they don't know what they don't know, and they'll be the first people to mess up missing dates, costing their client earnest
Yes.
deposit, like all kinds of stuff. So what are your thoughts on
Yep,
that?
exactly, same thing. The TC is a very important person because it takes
The
time
right
to write
TC.
up right, it takes time to write up the contract. It takes time to
Mhm.
remember who's gonna pick up that earnest money, who's gonna take out those gifts. I mean, you can teach them a lot
Yep.
more than just filling out a contract, right?
That's
Because
right.
you wanna teach them from the day that you get this client to years afterwards. They're
Mhm.
supposed to be setting up that system, and they can send
Yep.
it up to the marketing person. They send it to the next people in your team. You just gotta get them to
Mhm.
work, and a lot of times when you hire somebody, as long as you give them the direction, I think
They
that's
can
one of
do
the
it.
biggest places that people fail, is that we wanna hire somebody, but we forget about giving them a job description and giving them, like,
Or setting them up for success,
yeah,
just setting them up for
yep.
success with the tools that they could use. So, a week or so ago, Emily Terrell, who I know is
Oh,
a Tom Ferry
yes.
coach as well, she was on, and she said that she learned the 30 rule, I think it is, where I guess somebody she had heard him talk, so don't quote me on this, but I think it was basically saying if it takes you 5 minutes, like if it takes me, a seasoned agent, experienced agent to do it, and it takes me 5 minutes to do it, it's going to take me training someone 150 minutes on it for them to actually be as good at it as myself. And I thought that was like a huge light bulb moment for me. I was like,
Yeah,
oh, like I can't just say once, like this is how you do it and be done. Like, no, you have to do it again and then have them do it also to see if you know how they know what to do,
yeah.
and then have them, like so I was definitely one of those people that was like, I just want to show you to you one time and be done. And then I wonder why I wasn't successful,
But there's
you
also
know?
shortcuts. See, because if you created a video with a step-by-step process,
Yes.
some people, they
Yes.
need that reminder because 'cause they'll miss one step, and then that'll be enough to
Yeah.
get you off track. And then there you
Well,
go
what
with
I
your
also
trust.
find 100%. So what I also find is that a lot of people you kind of set the tone. You set the tone for how things are going to be on your team.
Mhm.
And one of the issues I always had was everybody came to me for all the questions, like, and instead of me saying, "Where do you think you would find that information?" or "What do you think the answer to that question is?" I would just spoon feed them the information because why? It's easier, it's quicker. I can move on to the next thing. But then that becomes the standard for the team is that they're not resourceful. They don't know, oh, even though we have an online university with all of these videos of how to do everything, like run a CMA, how to do, all of the stuff, they're not using it because they're used to coming to me and me answering the question instead of me diverting where they can go to get the information
Yes.
themselves.
Yes, and if you share those processes with them, even if you put it up in your office on your boards, maybe these are
Mhm.
the top 3 questions I had for the week. This is the problem, the way to solve it.
Yes.
These are the people to go
Yeah.
to. Because sometimes we do need
Yeah.
those reminders, and it's just
Yes.
you buying time. You're buying your time back.
Yes.
You're buying because
Yes. That's what people don't
luckily
understand is you're exchanging money for time.
yes, and if you
You may be
say
giving up some of your splits,
yep.
but you should be getting more time back in your business
That's what it is, and if you say, "My
or
I'm
your
gonna be
life.
available from whatever, 11 to 12 every day or 11 to 12 once a week," they are never gonna contact you between 11 and 12. They're always
That's
gonna contact you at the other hours.
yeah.
So,
Yep.
it's kinda like you have to have your non-negotiables. You gotta start teaching them, "If I'm not available and you're not here when I'm asking you to come and talk to me, these are the people
Mhm.
you need to go to."
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I agree with that
It's your
100%.
business.
So TC, I 100% agree with you. What would be the next hire after you have a TC in
After you have your
place?
TC, you wanna start doing your marketing. Marketing is a big thing. Lead gen is, all the time. You should be doing that on a daily basis. But you need your systems because we got so much, especially, going with an Espresso agent, you have your for sale by owners, you have your expires, and then
Mhm.
you're gonna go into your past clients, you're gonna go into your SOIs. I mean, that's a lot. And everything
Mhm.
should be systemized. And your job should
Yes.
be just creating your videos. Your
Yes.
marketing person should just be saying, "This is what I need from you today. These are the videos that I need for the month." And that's your job. And then
Yes.
let them run with it.
Yeah. So I've always handled my own social media. I did hire and another piece of advice that I have, and I would love to hear your feedback on this, is I try to stay away from salaried employees as much as possible
Okay.
because before you know it, you're salaried out. You've paid a couple hundred grand in salaries, and even if you're not making any money, it's just you'll lose your butt real quick. And so I did that. So I had a marketing coordinator on my team. I actually interviewed her for a different position, and she had all this marketing experience. So I said, oh, let's pivot. And so I paid her a hefty salary. But what I found was she wasn't the right person for the job because I had to spoon feed all the information to her about what we were going to do, what I needed from her, when I needed it posted, all that kind of stuff. And finally, I'm like, I've always done my own social media. I have a pretty solid following on my social media. And so I was like, you know what? I could just do this myself and get rid of that $55,000 a year salary. And I did. But then I became with the, all things to all people. And I'm like, listen, I record video. Basically, I record my day.
Mhm.
Like even when I'm on this call, I have a camera recording me here and I send that. So what I did was I interviewed and hired a video editor. So I can do the videos. I'm sitting in front of my computer most of the days, on Zoom calls with buyer consults, all that kind of stuff. I'm just recording what I'm doing and that's my content. Yeah. But I can't, it's my best time is not learning how to use a video editing tool. Now, can I do it a little bit? Yes. But is that where my best time is spent? No, it's not. So I thought, okay, if I could just have somebody edit my videos, that would be great. So now I have her, she's full-time. She's very inexpensive. She's a VA and she also posts for me. She has a VPN so she can do that. So she just started posting for me because then I found that she was editing all the videos and then I'd have them in my Google Drive, but then I never went and downloaded it into my phone so it's like, okay, anything I can do to try to get off my plate. If I'm having to do it, it's going to be inconsistent.
Yeah, that's it. And you're losing time. You're losing that valuable time
and opportunity.
Other things, correct.
Yes.
And believe it or not, if you hire the right person, you're going to find their strengths, which are your weaknesses. Mm-hmm. And to them, they can do it with their eyes closed.
Yeah.
It's just letting go. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people don't want to let go.
Well, and understanding that maybe the first person you hire for that position may not be the person that stays forever. It may not be the right fit. And sometimes you don't know till you're in it. Yep. And I'm sure you've heard this too, but some of the advice that I was given was be slow to hire and quick to fire. Yes. And I'm to the point now. So our rule of thumb my dynamic with me and my husband is he's my ops manager. He's licensed, but he doesn't do the day-to-day business. That's me. I'm the driver and I have a SEAL team. So it's just me and support staff. But he knows that if I complain about somebody twice, he knows he's got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a complainer, but he already knows if I'm complaining about this person 2 times, one time maybe, but 2 times, if I've complained about him recently 2 times, he knows that he's got to
not going to work. Yeah.
It's just avoiding the inevitable.
It's kind of like a marriage, right? They got to keep us happy.
And that's a full-time job. I can promise you, my husband has a full-time job with that. So yeah. So having that marketing person okay, so on that marketing person you hire, should they be the ones who are coming up with the content? Like you said, you should be the one recording the videos. Should they be the ones coming to you with all of the topics that you should be talking about, the things that you should be recording? What should their role be?
So you're basically the one that's going out there to these meetings. You're the ones that are listening to your clients. So you guys need to brainstorm and you come up with those ideas on what videos you want to make because you know what's going out there. You know what people are asking. Yeah. And then they also can go out and look at social media and find out what's the new trend. I know listing leads. I mean, that's been awesome because they have literally.
I use it every day.
Gone up.
I have a listing appointment this week from
listing leads
from one that I sent out. Yeah.
Yeah. It tells you what videos to make, what taglines to use. I mean, you don't even have to think anymore. You just have to get the right people. That's it. Get the right people.
So my VA actually sends me daily, if it's a text or an email or a social media post or whatever, she will send it to me and say, if it's something that she can do, like an email template or something like that, she'll send it and I just have to approve it. But this morning she sent it and it was a video that needed to be done based on a certain topic. And so I'm like, okay, so I put that on my to-do list to do later and I'll video record it and then I'll send it to her and then it's done and she sends it out and gets it all taken care of. But it takes all the guesswork out of what you should be doing. Because if you're not familiar with listingleads.com, Jimmy Mackin actually is one of the creators. He's phenomenal. And what I always tell people is it's a set it and forget it type of thing. You don't have to think about it. It tells you exactly what you need to be doing every day on what lead platform site, who the audience is going to be. But more importantly, I always tell people, don't you dare try to change it. Because he's already tested it with so many different successful agents. He's already tweaked it to get to say, okay, when we say it like this, we get a lot better response than when we said it like this. So he's testing it with agents out in the market right now as we speak. And as it's getting those good results, then he's putting it into the listing leads platform for you. So people just, they can overcomplicate things in 2 seconds. That's one of those things you just copy paste. Just copy paste. Don't change one thing. Don't question it. We're not reinventing the wheel here. It's a gift.
Yes.
It's a gift.
And stop making excuses not to do it. Because I'll get a lot of my clients
Yes.
that'll be like, well, I've already targeted this group. Let's not do this anymore. It's like, no, listen, do what it's telling you to
Yeah.
do. We know that you
Yeah.
have a group
Just
that you've been
don't
constantly
question it.
targeting. Just keep doing it.
Yeah, don't question
You
it. Yeah,
know?
and it works. It really works. And we usually talk about this at the end, but if you want to look, check out listingleads.com. So like I use it every day in my business. I think she has a lot of coaching clients that probably use it as well. You can actually sign up for listingleads.com and use the promo Espresso to get 50%
Oh,
off your first month.
nice.
And I'm telling you right now, it's $99 a month. So you get, essentially $50 off or so, but it is the best $100. That on top of what I pay for Espresso agent, that's the only two things I pay for in my business to help me lead gen.
Yep.
So it's, under $400 a month. And I set listing appointments every single day from those two systems.
Yep.
So
Yep.
definitely look into it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All wins. All wins.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So you have your marketing coordinator. So you have your TC, you have your marketing coordinator. And then what would be the next hire?
So think about your finances. I know finances is something that
Mhm.
a lot of people don't like to think about. I mean, of course, you should be
But
thinking
it's
about it right at the
important. It's so
beginning.
important.
But after you have these people
Yeah.
in place, you need to give all these people budgets for running ads,
Mhm.
budgets for buying gifts,
Yep.
budgets for just marketing, just getting people to
Yep.
come to your events. I mean,
Yes.
so that's a big issue.
And who are your vendor partners going to be that's going to help you pay for some of those things? I think a lot of people get in this business and they're like, I can't keep doing client events. They cost me so much money. Well, first of all, you should be getting deals from those client events. But second of all, you're giving business to people. Everybody's getting a little piece of the pie from your business that you're bringing in.
Yeah.
100% they should be contributing to those
Yeah.
events.
Yeah. So always think about your finances because that's a big
Yeah.
thing. That's why a lot of
Yeah.
people don't do so much reinvesting in their business because they don't think
Mhm.
about the money part.
Well, and they're spending too
Yep.
much. But I think it's interesting the amount of people who don't track and look at how. So I have a CPA, thank goodness. We finally got one a couple years ago because we were just making all this money. But then at the end of the year, I'm like, where's all the money?
Yep.
And then we started realizing because we did not realize, and this is my fault, not my husband's fault, because he's not the spender, I am. But we basically live a $50,000 a month lifestyle
Yep.
between the business and the personal. What's interesting is we spend way more in our personal life finances than we do in our business side finances. So that was a scary thing to look at it and go, wait a second, like, you mean I have to make $50,000 to break even? That means if I want to make, because I sit down, going over the business plan, I went through the financial part and said, okay, I want to have this much saved in my bank account at the end of the year. That means I have to make triple what my expenses are to be able to hit that number.
Yeah.
And that's scary. So you either have to get rid of some of your expenses or you have to make more money, or in my case, I want to do both. But
Right.
you're right on point with people don't think about it.
Yeah. And a lot of times people don't have a list of what they're paying for. And some products that they pay
Yep.
for, they don't use or they don't know how to use. So that's a big issue for us. Go ahead.
So here's a little tip for you. You could just call your bank and tell them that your card got compromised and have them have to send you a new card. I'm telling you right now, you will never know faster what all you're paying for things that you didn't even remember you're still paying for it until you start getting those notifications that your card didn't go through. And then you're like, wait a second, I still have that app. I didn't even realize I was still paying for that app. You would be so surprised at the amount of things that you pay for that you were not using and that you had no idea you were still paying for it.
You never missed it. You never missed it.
We went through that. Yeah, we went through that. So my coach is Chris Fox. And one of the things that we talk about is we talk about knowing our expenses. And because we track our expenses on a monthly basis, and once a week also, is I found out that I was spending like $7,000 a month eating out.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, was
Yeah.
that with clients
So
or was that just with you and your family?
no, that's just me and my family.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So I was like, and then but this is the crazier part, is then I started thinking, okay, well, I could just hire somebody to come in and cook our meals for us and let's not have to eat out. But then when they sent us how much it was going to cost, now mind you, it was far less than the $7,000 a month we eat out. What was my response? Oh, that's crazy. Like we could just make our own food.
Mhm.
But then I'm spending more than that eating out. So it's like, I mean, do better than me, guys. That's all I'm
But
saying.
also
So yeah.
why don't you just do this? If you're gonna go eat at a restaurant because you're doing it every day, it sounds like you're eating a lot.
We were,
You're going out a
yeah.
lot, is every time that you go to a restaurant, then you have to say, "You know what? I need to buy a gift card for one of my clients that I'm gonna send out." Your past clients,
Oh,
your sphere of influence. After a while, that's gonna start adding up, and it's gonna hurt that little,
yeah.
like, let's say $50 gift card is gonna hurt you more than what you're paying at that restaurant, as you're gonna start
Yeah.
realizing
Yeah.
that you're just throwing money
Yeah.
away.
I will say that we went from spending about 1,500 or so a month or a week on eating out to like we're under like 300
Wow,
a
that's
week now.
because
So,
you're 'cause
and
you're
we're a family
aware.
of 6. Yeah, because that's the thing is you can't fix what you don't acknowledge, and you can't acknowledge the things you don't
Yep.
know.
That's it. That he did great, but
Right. And then here's the other
aware.
thing you have to understand when you're going over your finances is it doesn't, you can make as much money as you want. What matters is how much are you getting to keep?
Yes. Yeah. And are you putting
Right.
it in the right areas? That's
That's
it.
right. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because
I think that's super important. I think when people do their business planning, they don't even think about personal finances,
yeah, yeah. That's the
and they
last thing.
should
That's
100%.
the last thing, and that's where a lot of people that's the first thing that they come to a coaching session with, is they're
Mhm.
struggling, but then that's the last thing that they wanna talk about is the money.
Yes, because it's uncomfortable and it's hard
Yeah.
and it's not something you want to talk about. I mean, it's not fun talking to somebody that you could be basically a stranger if it's a new coach and you're telling them that you're broke and these are your spending habits. Like it's a very personal thing,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
But that's the
But you just have
person
to
that's
rip the
supposed to
Band-Aid
help
off.
you. Wouldn't you want to talk about your money with them? I mean, you're
Well, I think if you're going to have a coach or you're going to have anybody help you in your business, you have to be transparent. You have to be
yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, we're just sitting around telling each other good things. And I mean, that's great, but I need to know what I actually need to do because I have goals that I want to accomplish. And if something I'm doing personally is keeping me from reaching my goals, which we figured out
Mhm.
that was what the case was. Now I'm like, I think twice before I buy something. I'm like, I now have the mindset, do I need this or do I want this? And so
Correct.
and that just changed everything. And then, because I know now that that's something I needed to change. Now I can sit down once a week and plan out my meals, and that makes it much easier. So talking about planning is I do that in business as well. And what are some of the things that you think people should be planning for in their business on a weekly basis to be successful?
I know you hear it over and over, but it's your morning routine. That's the
Yep.
biggest thing. You have to be
Yep.
grateful.
There's a reason why people say that on every single interview.
Yeah, and I always say, I mean, it's just it's something that, of course, we've all learned, but even if you just think
Mhm.
about night and day, the sun comes up, the sun goes down, every day is a new day. You could have the worst day the day before,
Mhm.
but in the morning, a
Mhm.
lot of times you don't feel the same as you felt the night before. So you gotta
That's right.
constantly be writing down, journaling. What are your wins? What are your losses? What did you learn from them?
Yes.
And have those reminders because sometimes people will stop from making their calls because they forgot the amazing win that they had 3 days before.
Yes. Yes.
So,
Or they'll have one bad day and then all of a sudden they don't want to do it anymore. And
yes,
it's like you have to remember the good things too.
yes, the morning routine
I
is
agree
the
with that.
biggest thing and definitely getting that energy in you. I mean, I love my Apple Watch because as a Tom Ferry coach, we're always sitting and we're doing
Yeah.
videos, right?
Uh-huh.
And my Apple Watch is always telling me it's time to get up and walk. It's time to, and that gives you that energy.
Or they'll say, "You can still do it." It'll say, "You can still do it." And I'm like, it's like 9 o'clock at night. Like, I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
out and do a 3-mile walk. But thanks for the reminder that I sat on my butt all day.
Exactly, that's it, and that's
Yeah.
how it is also when you're making your calls and you're actually on the
Yes.
computer. Because as realtors, we can stay in front of a computer all day planning to
Yes.
plan and never doing the work.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That's another thing
Planning to
I
plan.
definitely wanted to mention because it's stop planning, just get out.
Analysis paralysis
Yes,
is a thing.
yes.
So I have a lot of people who ask me, like, because I built my business to be where it's at in a very short amount of time, 6.5 years. I do 100 transactions. I
Wow,
don't work
awesome,
Friday through Sunday. I don't work evenings. Like I've kind of I figured it out, right?
good.
But that's the thing is that oh, I lost my train of thought because I heard a noise. That happens all the time. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say now. Oh,
I
it
know. Well,
I
we're talking
know.
about the scheduling. We're talking about, your gratitude, your journaling. I'm trying to
Well, I know for me, I have to get up if I don't get up and work out
yeah,
first thing in the morning, like, and get that energy, I can tell, like, I think, again, being self-aware is I can tell on the days that I get up and work out, I have way more energy and I'm way more productive.
yeah,
Then if I don't work out, I have a tendency that I could be on a little bit on the lazy side. So if the morning routine for me is huge.
yes. Yeah, and take a shower and I know it's going back to little things, but take a shower, comb your hair, put your makeup on, feel good about yourself, and that's
Oh, I
what
know now
gets
what I
you
was gonna
out.
say.
Yeah, tell me.
Is analysis paralysis is a lot of people reach out to me and say, "Hey, why do you think that you've been able to scale your business the way you have in such a short amount of time?" And I said, "I don't think about it. I know what my vision is and what I want to do, and if it aligns with that, I'm very quick to make decisions. Sometimes they're not good decisions, but like I make quick decisions. I don't sit around thinking about planning. I actually just do.
Yeah,
And sometimes I just think later, and that's not always the best thing, but I'm saying that will get you further, especially if you know that it already aligns with your business. Like it's very easy to make those decisions.
Yes, yes. And some things that have helped my clients a lot is knowing their pipeline, like having a chart in front of
Yes.
them or a board in front of them that
Yes.
says, these are my next 5 sellers, these are
Yes.
my next 5 buyers. Put them on that
Yes.
board and then get with your coach
Yes.
and find out, how do I move them down the line? How do I get them
Yes.
into a transaction? If you
Yes. I call them my babies. These are my babies.
yeah,
And I have a whole list of babies and I reach out to them. My goal is that they get a touch from me every single week. I personally reach out to them every week and I update the date of, so tracking and having a system in place for that is huge.
yes.
I 100%, yes. If you always feed your pipeline, you will always have consistent, scalable
Yeah.
business.
And we're talking
Yeah.
about, converting 12% of your pipeline now for next year, for 2025.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot.
Oh, people, when they start, oh, that's a whole other call because if they start actually going down that rabbit hole and seeing how much money they're not making from their own database, like it will make you mad
Yes. Yeah.
or it will inspire you to do better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're gonna start seeing people in that database. You're gonna be like, "Well, we were best friends, or we had conversations, or
Yeah.
whatever," and then I
Yeah.
just stopped, and look at what happened. It doesn't take very
Yeah.
long for them to move
Yep.
on.
Yep. Yep. It happens to everybody. Trust me.
Yeah.
Well, we've run out of time today, unfortunately, but oh my goodness, it was so nice to talk with you. It was so good to hear some of the nuggets that you gave. I hope agents really listened in and like took some notes because this is gold, what she's telling you guys. Again, I'm Shawna Martinez with Espresso Agent. If you are looking to get more business, more listing-based business specifically, which being a listing agent is amazing, you can scale your business and have more time back in your life, then definitely check out listingleads.com and use that promo code Espresso to get 50% off your first month. It is worth every penny. Like I said, I use it every day in my business along with Espresso Agent, and I do over 100 transactions a year. So you guys have a great day and happy prospecting.
Bye. We'll see you.